Welcome to Feed Dump, where this week we are unfortunate byproducts of things we love. I made a hairball, a new art installation in 5 pieces. Joining me this week is Nuclear Winter.
No, did I say nukes? I really meant a neutron bomb that leaves only books and cappuccinos.
And unfortunate Japanese import restrictions.
Some of these are awfully specific.
Losing a loved one can be a difficult and traumatic experience. It can also be hard. Thanks to a new product from designer Mark Sturkenboom, an urn shaped like a dildo for your loved one's ashes.
I'm going to have to come up with an entirely new euphemism for disrespecting the dead after we've actually developed a way to literally fuck them.
So given that an urn is just an inert vessel, do you have to fill it with dead people, or can you put other things inside?
Like pickled carrots?
Spiders?
Preserves?
Ooh, jam.
Now, this solemn reminder of the good times you once had isn't just a dildo kit. You also get a memory box, a necklace,
A pearl necklace?
a scent diffuser, a music system, and a more traditional gold urn for when relatives come over, I guess.
So what do you need the urn for? Is it a stand for the dildo? Does it slide in and kind of hide itself, or just vibrate there for a while?
Or do you transfer the ashes from the dildo to the urn and then back? Or is there like a baggy system where you pull it out of the dildo and put it in the urn?
Like some sort of dildos-based Towers of Hanoi.
Is there really a market for this? After all, every urn is already a dildo if you try hard enough.
Much like with a few simple modifications, any dildo can become an urn.
I feel compelled here to point out that a cremated human body is still quite large and you're only getting one small scoop of it into the dildo. So, I mean, depending on volume, and the rest is just like blown out the smokestack or used in Folgers instant coffee, or, I mean, I imagine it's still relatively high in nitrate, so it goes into a garden somewhere. So what are you getting, really?
The satisfaction of having your loved one inside you again, I guess.
Does it have to be a loved one? Could we get anyone?
From what I understand about crematoriums, it's almost certainly guaranteed.
A California man's burglary plans went awry when, instead of getting inside and doing a crime, he decided he'd rather just eat a big old plate of tater tots and then fall asleep on the couch. He was found and arrested.
How old was this man?
44? Why?
When I was in university, I was sitting on my couch in residence, and a man just walked through my door with a plate of chicken wings, stared at me, looked around at the room, and left. Given this man's age, he could be the same man.
So what you're telling me is that he was a wingman?
Seems to me we got a real Goldilocks situation here. He went to the first house, but the tots were too hot. He went to the second house, but those tots were still frozen. But he went to the third house, and the tots were just right.
And then the police came and took him to prison, where he met Goldilocks and his 3 bears.
Maybe this was actually the whole point. Maybe all he wanted was a hot meal, a place to lie down for a bit and catch up on Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Wait, Courtney hasn't broken up with Gul Dukat yet, has she?
If this sort of thing continues, I'm going to be hiding all of my tater tots inside of an ornate dildo.
Ooh, I'm really not looking forward to what happens when Kim finds out that the Dominion abandoned the entire 11th Order to be massacred by the Klingons.
Thank God for America, land of the free. If after your partner dies and before you shove them into a dildo, you want to have an ornate, ridiculous funeral, complete with fireworks and exotic dancers and bimbos, that's your right. But not in China, where authorities are cracking down on people who hire exotic dancers to show up at funerals to flaunt their family's wealth.
Uncle, I love you so much, and we are so wealthy that I will hire someone to twerk on your grave.
Really, this is just another example of families doing things for people in death that they never would have thought to do for a person who is still alive. Uncle, I would hire someone to twerk on you right now.
Do you think this is what Grandma really would have wanted?
Who?
According to the Chinese Ministry of Culture, hiring entertainers who specialize in titty-a-go-go is both illegal and corrupts social morals. They used the example of a troupe of burlesque dancers who were hired to perform a traditional dance and then took off their clothes at the funeral of an elderly person. And they said, don't do that.
Will the despotic regime in Beijing know no bounds on their tyranny?
Well, there goes a third of Cirque du Soleil's revenue in China this year.
How are they planning to enforce this? Will the police just start inspecting funerals and decide that if somebody has, as a matter of happenstance, taken off all their clothes at a funeral, that they are in fact a stripper and not just a bereaved family member who's, twerking it? What if they're dancing to a particularly slow and solemn song while they do so? That's a thing that just happens. I swear.
Shorty got low, 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 lower, lower, lower. Spade full of dirt on top. Ashes to ashes.
Well, I can't speak for these dead Chinese people, but I can tell you I don't want strippers at my funeral. I want to keep things solemn and dignified. I just want my friends and family to come together and sing a rousing rendition of Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead, because I think that's going to be a good way to remember me. Anyhow, unfortunately, much like a life, this feed dump must also come to an end. But remember, there may be better sources of news, but they don't have this hat, which is a actual feed dump toque made for us by Mara. Look at that. It says feed dump. It's got the logo on it. It's very nice. It's perfectly sized for my head and not Graham's, because I am the one true host of feed dump until you pry this chair out of my cold dead hands. And if you do remember, Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead. Just think it suits me.
Could you stick an Estes Class D motor in the back of that and shoot it towards the heavens?
That really has more of a 1950s high science fiction feel to it. I feel that a corpse-stuffed dildo really lends itself more to a Ballardian dystopia.